What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and today I'm back to talk about Warhammer 40K. In this one, we are going over an excerpt from the novel Fulgrim, where we learn that Fulgrim was ever so close to destroying Horus's fleet and maybe even preventing the Horus heresy. However, his talk with his brother Horus went and led him towards chaos. So let's go ahead and read what exactly happened between these two Primarchs that allowed Fulgrim to descend to the heresy. So without further ado, let's dive right in. The gray meat of Fulgrim's brain was filling fit to burst as he sought to process all that Horus was telling him. Even in my moments of blackest doubt, all that sustained me was the utter certainty of my ultimate achievement of perfection, said Fulgrim. The Emperor was the shining paragon of that dream's attainment. To have that taken away from me. Doubt is not a pleasant condition, not in Horus, but certainty is absurd when it is built on a lie. Fulgrim felt his mind reel, that even he entertained the possibility that Horus could be right, his words unraveling all that he had ever been and all that he had ever hoped to achieve. His past was gone, destroyed to feed his father's lie, and all that was left was his future. The Emperor is a comedian, playing to an audience too afraid to laugh, said Horus. To him, we are merely tools to be used until blunted, and then to be cast aside. Why else would he leave us in the crusade, to retreat to his dungeons beneath Terra? His apotheosis is already underway, and it is up to us to stop it. I dreamed of one day being like him, whispered Fulgrim, of standing at his shoulder and feeling his pride and love for me. Horus stepped forward, kneeling before him and taking his hands. All men dream, Fulgrim, but not all men dream equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake in the day to find that it was all just vanity. For men like us, the dreamers of the day, our dreams are the ones of hope, of improvement, of change. Perhaps we were once simply weapons, warriors who knew nothing beyond the art of death. But we have grown, my brother. We are so much more than that now. But the Emperor does not see it. He would abandon his greatest achievements to the darkness of a hostile universe. I know this for a fact, Fulgrim, for I did not simply receive this wisdom. I discovered it for myself after a journey that no one could take for me or spare me from. I cannot hear this, Horus, cried Fulgrim, surging to his feet as his flesh threw off the paralysis that had held him immobile. He marched towards the mural of the Emperor and shouted, "You have no idea what you're asking me to do." On the contrary, replied Horus, rising to follow him, I know exactly what I am asking you to do. I am asking you to stand with me, to defend our birthright. This galaxy is ours by right of conquest and blood. It is to be given away to grubby politicians and clerks. I know you have seen this, and it must make your blood boil as it does mine. Where were those civilians when it was our warriors dying by the thousands? Where were they when we crossed the span of the galaxy to bring illumination to the lost fragments of humanity? I'll tell you where. They huddled in the dark and dusty halls. Horus reached down to his desk, snatching up a handful of papers, and thrust them into Fulgrim's hands. What are these? He asked. Lies. They call it the Lectitio Divinatis, and it is spreading through the fleets like a virus. It is a cult that defies the Emperor and openly worships him as a god. Can you believe it? After all we have done to bring the light of science and reason to these pathetic mortals, they invent a false god and turn to him for guidance. A god? Yes, Fulgrim, a god, said Horus, his anchors spilling out in a surge of violence. The War Master roared and hammered his fist into the mural, his gauntlet smashing the painted face of the Emperor to shards. Ruptured blocks fell from the wall to crash upon the metal deck, and Fulgrim released the papers that he held, watching them flutter to the floor amidst the ruin of the mural. Fulgrim cried out as his world shattered into shards as fragmented as the rubble of the mural, his love for the Emperor torn from his breast and held up for the dirty, useless thing it was. Horus came to him and cupped his face in his hands, staring into his eyes with an intensity that was almost fanatical. "I need you, my brother," pleaded Horus. "I cannot do this without you, but you must do nothing against your conscience. My brother, my phoenix, my hope, wing your way through the darkness and defy fortune's spite. Revive from the ashes and rise." Fulgrim met his brother's stare. "What would you have me do?" And just like that, with a well-placed speech pulling at the heartstrings of his brother Fulgrim, Horus made another ally against the Emperor. So here we do see exactly just how well Horus is as a speaker, as a person with tons of charisma. He knows what to say, when to say it, what to do, and at the right time as well. He literally played Fulgrim like a fiddle, and he got him to his side. Now, we see here that Horus hated politicians. He hated that humanity was getting what he thought should have been his. And he also knew that at the end of the day, the Emperor cared not for all the hard work, all the death, blood, sweat, and tears that Horus and his men and his Space Marine legions were doing, and they were getting nothing in return. So again, the Horus heresy is starting to snowball, and it will slowly begin to become an all-out war. So, with that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts here. Do you think that Fulgrim got turned too easily to chaos? Or do you think that there was no other way? Now, of course, this speech did kind of push him in that direction, but the nail that cemented Fulgrim's descent to chaos was that of the Laren blade, which held the Slaaneshi demon inside, that slowly began corrupting his psyche. So, again, guys, that's all I got for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Thanks again for watching, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and liking. And as always, it's been the Sound Alchemist, part of One Mind Syndicate, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.